Welcome to my channel, ketomealsandrecipes.com. In today's video, I will share with you what to do when you're really busy or tired, but you have a huge craving for something really delicious and chocolatey. But at the same time, it has to be a really easy treat to make. So please watch, because I have a perfect dessert recipe for you, my sugar-free chocolate brownies. I'm really pleased with these brownies because they're moist with a rich chocolatey fudgy flavor that is just so satisfying. And it only takes 3 easy steps to make the entire recipe. In order that you can judge how many servings or what size servings you can enjoy, the macronutrient ratio for these sugar-free chocolate brownies is 3.8 to 1, with 3 grams of total carbs, 0.7 grams of soluble fiber, 0.6 of insoluble fiber, resulting in 1.8 grams of net carbs per square. When I'm making a recipe, I find it much easier if I first assemble and weigh out all of my ingredients. And then the second thing I'm going to do for this recipe is preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. I'm also going to line the bottom of an 8 by 8 inch or 20 by 20 centimeter square baking pan with a sheet of parchment. To get the right measurement, I first trace the outline on my parchment and then just cut it out. I also grease the bottom of the pan with either butter or coconut oil. This will adhere the parchment to the pan, so I don't have to worry about my parchment rolling up as I'm pouring in the batter. And I also grease the sides of the pan. And having done that, just set the pan aside for a moment. Next, to a large mixing bowl or a stand mixer bowl, add all of the ingredients. I begin by adding the dry ingredients, the almond flour, the sweetener, which I ground to a very fine confectioner powder, the cocoa powder. I also add a bit of instant coffee powder because it will really bring out the full flavor of the chocolate. The next thing I'm going to add to the bowl is my gluten-free and corn-free baking powder, my finely ground salt, and here's where I should have added my skim milk powder, but I forgot, so I will add it later. Next, I add the wet ingredients. I begin by fork whisking my room temperature eggs. To that container, I pour in my heavy whipping cream and the melted unsalted butter, or as I'm doing, refined coconut oil. And if you haven't done so before, make sure you stir all the dry ingredients before adding the wet ingredients. And give the wet ingredients a quick stir and then pour them into the bowl with the dry ingredients. Also add your vanilla at this time. Then either with your electric hand mixer or using your hand whisk, mix and fold until all the ingredients are well combined. It's now time to pour your room temperature water and give it a quick stir. You will notice that the chocolate brownie batter will be a bit runny at this point. That's okay. That's how it should be. Here's an optional step. Some people like their brownies without any nuts in it, but I really like having chopped walnuts or chopped pecans. Either of these two will do. I personally prefer the walnuts, but it's up to you. Then fold the nuts into the batter, making sure that the nuts are as evenly distributed as you can make it. While I was actually filming, it was at this point that I noticed that I forgot to add the milk powder, so I'm going to add it now and then give it a quick mix to combine with the rest of the ingredients. And if you're wondering why milk powder, it increases the rich flavor of the brownies and, in my opinion, also adds to the moistness of the brownies without making them feel mushy or soggy. And then stir to combine. Then let the brownie batter rest for 10 minutes. In order that the almond flour has time to absorb some of the liquid ingredients. Give the brownie batter a quick stir before pouring the batter into the prepared pan. Using an offset spatula, spread and smooth the surface of the batter. Try to make the thickness of the batter the same all over. This will result in the brownies baking more evenly. And when you cut them, each square will have a more uniform thickness. This brownie batter is now nice and even, and it's ready to be placed in the middle position of my preheated oven, and I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. If you're not sure if your brownies are done, you could always do the toothpick test. Insert the toothpick, and if it comes out clean, your brownies are done. But I'm pretty sure 30 minutes will be just the right amount of time. After you have removed the pan from the oven, just let the brownie slab cool in the pan for a few minutes. Before removing, run a knife on the inside of the pan to loosen the brownies. I have found the easiest way to remove my brownie slab from the pan is to place a cutting board over the pan. Then flip the brownie onto the cutting board. And this gives you the bottom part up. So you'll have to flip it one more time. And for the second flip, I like to use my cooling rack so that they're right side up again. Now leave the brownie slab to cool on the wire rack just as they are until the brownies come to room temperature, at which point you can cut your brownies to whatever size you want. And here you can cut the squares into fairly large 3x3 rows, which will give you 9 fairly large brownie slices, or as I prefer, cut into 4x4 rows to make 16 snack-sized pieces. These are really rich, chocolatey, satisfying pieces, so you don't really need big slices. Now, that was all the work that is needed for this recipe. Wasn't that easy? And to give you one more option, which by the way, I don't do because I find these brownies are absolutely amazing without any topping, but I do recognize that some people like to top their brownies with a sugar-free chocolate frosting. If you would like me to show you how I make my chocolate or vanilla Swiss buttercream frosting, please leave me a comment. Alternatively, another topping option is to make a chocolate ganache and pour it over the brownies. It's completely up to you whether you choose not to add a topping or what kind of topping to add. I think you'll agree this is a very easy recipe to make, and it's quite quick to put together and have freshly made if you're going to have guests for the holidays. And if you have any leftover brownies, here's how you store them. These brownies will last 3 to 4 days in an airtight container at room temperature, or for a week or longer in the refrigerator. Also, these brownies will last between 2 and 3 months in the freezer. However, I have found that if you leave them frozen for much longer than that, their taste and quality will begin to deteriorate. The best way to freeze these brownies to prevent freezer burn or loss of flavor is to leave them in an uncut block, then wrap the entire slab with cling wrap and store in a freezer-safe, airtight container. Since we're coming up to Christmas, one of the things that I like to do is to make a treat box in which I add a variety of cookies and a few pieces of brownies. I would really appreciate it if you would let me know what kind of treats you like to make, especially during the holidays. I'm always open for new suggestions. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you come back when I post my next video. Until then, have a happy and healthy day. Cheers!